Good morning, everybody, and this is your DAX day trade setups for today. So a little bit of higher time frame analysis quickly. So we start off on the weekly, and we have an inside range bar here. So we had 2 weeks of pretty solid moves to the upside, and then we had got this little bit of a range bar. You can see the tail is off some structure. You can see there's a weekly tail, there's a weekly tail, and there's quite a bit of interaction here. So the question is that the weekly level that we need to pay attention to? Bear in mind, we still have an inverse head and shoulders play that is in play at the moment. Oscillators are all over the place. We're quite far from the moving averages, but we don't have the crossover just yet. We want blue above red. We don't have that just yet, but there is quite a bit of potential structure here on the lower time frame. So if we start drilling down into the intraday time frames, first thing on the 8 hour, look at the oscillators. They are starting to cross over. They've separated apart. They are above the 20. Bounce off some structure late in the week right there, which is 14,937, and also a little bit of a, not that strong, but is a little bit of a flag that we have in play. I think if you drill down to a lower time frame, it'll be a little bit clearer. So there's that part, and you get the drift. It's not that clear. It's not really a strong channel at the moment. What it could be is a break of structure, which that structure is right over here. So it could be a break of structure, and this is a retest. Look at the oscillators. That is what it is looking like as we separate like this, but we'll need to cross over before that comes into play, setting ourselves up for another leg down. Now, this is our line in the sand, 14,937. Drop below that, which is the low of last week pretty much, then you should expect a bigger move to the downside. And there are gaps. There's a lot of structure to the downside that would act as a magnet. It is also looking like a base. So as soon as we start getting down to the 1 hour, you'll see a bit of structure here. On Thursday, up, higher low. So draw that in. There you go. There's your trend line, back above the moving averages, but we haven't really tested. I don't like the way the oscillators are looking at the moment. So I would expect us to come back and test some structure, and the ones that I'm looking at are pretty much in that zone there. So I would like to see us come back to 15,056 and 15,029, 1500 as well. There's a gap here as well. That would be a half decent area for me to look for longs. We are all over the place, so we're above and below the moving averages on the hour. There's nothing really in it that is indicating any solid structure. 15-minute is extremely overbought. And look at all these 15-minute gaps here. So there's a gap down here, there's a gap there. That's the lowest gap. Just looking to the left, there's another little one there. So we've got a whole lot of gaps here, so I would be very reluctant in jumping in long at the moment. I think a retest of 15,000 is probably on the cards, and that would come back into this chaos. So 15,000 is roughly over there, but there's one little gap below that as well. 15,000 would bring us back close to this trend line. That's kind of the view that I've got at the moment. I'm very reluctant in jumping in long up here. I don't like what I'm seeing. I would prefer to be buying off some structure. Bear in mind, 15,000 drops us below the moving averages again, and that just puts me back sitting on my hands. So probably worthwhile just taking a deep breath and waiting to see what's going to happen. If we do get a crossover on the hour, we come back and test. either the moving averages or one of these two levels here. So that's 15,029 and 15,056. That would get me interested in looking for a move to the upside. But if we just continue grinding like this, I would expect a rejection higher up, but there's no structure to indicate that I need to be looking for that rejection. So what I mean by that is if we were below the moving averages and we were getting the rejection just below or on the moving averages, that to me would indicate we have some pretty decent structure. But the fact that we're above them, what I'm looking for is a crossover and then a retest for a move to the upside. So my bias is leaning to the upside, although it's not completely there. And when you start looking at the lower time frames, I mean, you can probably drop as low as a 5 minute here. And you can see all of this is chaotic. So, and if you start dropping below this on the 5 minutes, you can see what starts happening. You start dropping below the moving averages. So 50-50 call. Bias is to the upside, but 3-hour trend is up, but I have diversions here from this swing high to this swing high, and they're separating. So here this is indicating another leg down, and probably this 15,000 area is more than likely what we're going to be looking to test at the moment. Anyway, I'm sit on hands until I see something set up on the 15-minute chart today. So either a retest of 1500, but that's going to be below the moving averages, which not going to excite me at all, or finding some structure here around the moving averages area with the oscillators grouping to the downside. That may interest me. But from what I'm seeing at the moment, on the 3-hour at least, is this could be a bit of a flag forming for a second leg down. First leg down, flag, rejection of the breakout, second leg down. But I'm reluctant to take that trade purely because we're not below the moving averages. So I'd have to see us break below this area here and retest this area for a move to the downside before I start looking at shorts. So 50-50 call, unfortunately. But if I see something, I will shout. But at the moment, I think it's safer bet just to sit quietly and wait for this to play out. Hope that helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.